We work with Bing. They're a client. And it's a wonderful search engine, I promise you. You should give it a try. One of the things that we do with Bing is help find ways to engage with people, to give them access to experiences that they might otherwise not have. The reason why that's important is because of this number. People that visit Bing from an engaging environment, or could say a social environment, a place where they're sharing relevant information with other people, for example, or platforms, are 4 times as valuable to Bing. They stick around almost 4 times as long. They do 4 times as many searches over the course of their lifetime. They see 4 times as many ads. So you can get the idea that it's really important to create engaging experiences that bring people closer to Bing so they can experience it for themselves. And if we can give people opportunities to engage with Bing, that also allows them to engage with each other, then we know we're doing our job. So with that said, and knowing that that's kind of one of the key pieces of data that we're always working backwards from, there was this little thing going on over the last month or so called the World Cup. Big, gigantic event. The biggest event over the course of time in Twitter's history. So there was a ton of content being created in lots of different places. Bing had some involvement with the World Cup. They had some involvement with ESPN's broadcast of the World Cup. They were one of the sponsors. One of the challenges that we had and that we were given by our clients was, okay, so we know that people are going to be watching World Cup. We know they're going to be creating a lot of information on the World Cup, about the World Cup, and we know a lot of them are going to be doing it from their mobile devices. How can we give people a reason to engage with Bing, thereby creating one of those 4X scenarios that I talked about earlier? So we thought about it. Keep in mind, this was about 2 weeks before the World Cup. So we're under a little bit of pressure. When we thought about the scenarios that people might be in when they are using their mobile device around the World Cup, there was one thing that we couldn't get out of our heads: this kid. You might have seen this guy before, but he is a hooligan in training. Basically, one of the problems that people have in watching the World Cup in lots of different countries, especially in the US, is that if they live in a major city, they don't want to walk into the wrong bar. If you are a French expatriate, New York is not the best place to be anyway, but if you're a French expatriate, you want to go to a bar that's showing a game that France might be playing in, for example. And you want to be around a bunch of friendlies, not friendly matches, but friendly people, or people that are also rooting for France. There was a Verizon spot that was actually running throughout the World Cup that showed 2 guys actually wearing the opposing team's uniform just so they could go to a bar and see their team play. And then they'd run into the bathroom. It's a little weird. They both run into the bathroom together, and they call their friend over their phone, and they start yelling and screaming because their team had just scored a goal, and they didn't want to get beat up. Of course, a fan of the opposing team walks out of a stall, and it gets even weirder. Anyway, the point is, we know this was a problem. People are having this problem. There are expats from all different countries, fans of other countries' team all over the world. Soccer or football is a pretty big sport. So, therefore, we took it upon ourselves to make this easy, right? So we knew that there wasn't a tool out there to help people find where friendly bars, their country-friendly bars, were. It would be a really daunting task if we were to go out there and literally poll each bar owner or bartender or bar visitor to find out what kinds of allegiances these bars had. So we decided to kind of crowdsource the collection of this kind of information, but also focus on getting some curated content as well, so that we knew the quality of that content, or at least some of it, would trump kind of the wisdom of the crowd, so to speak. So what we did was created this application called Home Turf Finder. And hopefully this will play well. But again, what this allowed people to do was we created a use case for Bing Maps, basically, which is a wonderful map app. You can see this here running in Silverlight, actually, where people can actually find bars around wherever they are standing in 11 major US cities to understand, again, which team that they have an allegiance to. There are some general places just showing the games, and those are marked by a soccer ball. But again, all of this data is either provided by Foursquare check-ins, where you can tag your team at a place, and thereby saying what kind of allegiance, and we collect that information and make a decision on the allegiance of the bar. Or we also partnered with Thrillist, who also operates in 11 of the top major US cities, to provide information that we pulled into these little overlays. So here's San Francisco, and you can see that when you click on Danny Coyle's, which is a US-friendly bar, there is a source of information from Thrillist, which says they have great empanadas. Or again, if you are I believe, French expatriate, Lark Creek Steak, should be Bissteak, but whatever. You could see, again, some relevant information about that place, again, the country of loyalty. And you could also see how many people are checked in there at that moment in time on Foursquare, which is great, because if there is a place that you want to go to that you see no one is checked in at, you might think, oh, that place might be dead anyway. So again, what we did with this application was help people make decisions that were relevant to them, but also improve the experience that they're having in what we call meat space, the real world. Very, very important. This is an enhancement. It's a quality of life enhancement. One of the things that you could also do is go to the good old internet and see all the tips that were left behind at all of these places. Again, kind of showing the country that people were showing an allegiance towards. You can also check out the sources of information. Again, Thrillist was a good partner in providing us with this data. Again, we also took a lot of data from the people that were leaving tips behind as they visited these locations. And the list goes on and on and on. We also launched a mobile version of this application, which I can't stress enough, there were 2 weeks to pull this off. So building a Silverlight application is one thing. We also actually turned it into an Ajax application too. So in giving people the opportunity to have access to this data in the palm of their hands, because not everybody is making the decision at their desk or on a laptop, a lot of the times the decision is being made on a mobile device. So wanted to give people the opportunity to do that there as well, and we did. Finally, we also had a ton of promotion going on Thrillist as well, again, who was the source of a lot of this content. So they let people know throughout their network, again, in 11 major cities, exactly where they could find information on the best places to watch the World Cup games. Again, a highly social experience. And then there's this, the badge program, which, it's funny, there's a lot of complaining, as wonderful as these badges are, there's a lot of complaining about how difficult it is to execute one of these or pull one of these off. Again, partially the reason is because Foursquare is not necessarily a fully built out sales organization yet. They get a $20 million round of financing. Everyone expects that to happen overnight. And it will, I'm sure, but it's not there yet. So badge programs are wonderful. They're tough to get. And it's probably a little on purpose, because one of the functions or reasons behind badges on Foursquare is, again, to bring in that game dynamic, kind of like that epic win scenario that Faris was talking about. And it does you no good to win something unless it's scarce. Kind of remember those trophies that we used to get as kids where everyone's a winner, even though you lost, and you kind of knew that everyone's not a winner and you lost. Well, in this case, we wanted to make it special when somebody got a badge. So one of the things that we did was, again, if you shouted out "go" and your country, team name here 2 times on 2 separate days at these bars, again, rewarding you for actually being loyal to that team, you will unlock a badge. One of the things that we really wanted to do with these badge programs, and again, because of the short period of time we weren't able to, was we wanted to tie in real world benefits to this. So we wanted people to be able to show these badges at bars and get drink specials. We did not have time to pull that off. But again, something to think about if you do get around to doing something like this, having real world rewards tied into kind of, I guess, virtual gifts or rewards is probably a good way to keep people interested and coming back for more.